Good morning, good morning. Give everyone just a minute to get on so I can find the video too. How is everyone doing today? There it is. We're on mute. We're good. Good to go. How is everyone doing? What are you guys up to in the gardens? There we go. Hello, hello. Where are you all? There we are. Welcome, everyone. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I don't know about you, but it is starting to get cold here. This morning, I considered gloves. I didn't put them on because it takes me forever to finally get there, but it's chilly out today. Is it cold for you guys? Good morning, Christina. First one on. How you doing? Morning, Heather. Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. What's up, Randy? Randy, I just scored the most beautiful Monstera. Only because it's just massive. I mean, don't make fun of me for not knowing the right words, but I mean, it's just a green Monstera. And it does have fenestrations on it, but it is huge, is ginormous, and I go pick it up today, and I'm really excited about it. I made it first comment. Good morning, Vivian. How are you today? I'm doing really good, LP. Thanks for asking. Like I said, it's a little chilly here, but it's really good. Shelby, hello. Oh, I hope you and your toddler feel better soon. I get it. It's going through the schools right now. Just the normal colds that, happen every year, but they're definitely happening as those little ones are starting to build up their immunity again. Hello from Elginak. Hey, Dan. Have you been on with us before? Because I don't recall. I grew up part-time in Elginak, so I know that area quite well. It was 39 this morning. Yeah, I don't even know what it was this morning, but chilly. I guess I could check. Is cold. And I was talking to poor Luke. As I was coming in, he was walking out. And he's like, I have to go film, and it's cold out. So all of you feel for Luke right now because he's shivering in the garden. He says he's not acclimated yet. Oh, 61 degrees here. Christina, I'm coming to North Carolina. I'll be there in a minute. Ooh, no, I don't want to see snow yet. Austin trees. How long does a Monstera take to fruit? I feel really silly right now. I didn't know a Monstera fruited. Granted, that could be because they may not do it in Michigan, and that's why I personally don't know. So, Randy, you're going to have to answer that one. Does a Monstera fruit? Had to call out today thanks to staying up all night. Oh, migraines are the worst. Okay, my family has this little tip for migraines because I know so many people struggle with them. Cream of tartar is sold in like the spice aisle at any of your local grocery stores, and you just take a dab of it and put it under your tongue. It's like 20 minutes later, you feel much better. Try it. Okay, Randy says Monstera typically don't flower or fruit indoors as houseplants, so they must in their natural environment, somewhere a little more tropical. Boston, Mass. Hello, Patrice. Snow in Gaylord. Oh, yikes. Sorry, Michigan. Oh, Christina, thank you. I'm coming. Hey, remember, I teach 3-year-old preschool, so I am here for the little ones in chaos, so that's all good. All right, I have a question for you guys. So Luke and I were talking this morning about video topics, and he and I always get in this discussion right this time of year as everything is slowing down and the cold is setting in. We want to know topic-wise for videos, so like Luke's videos, are there specific topics that you guys are still struggling with that you would like, you know, further exploration on? Yeah, what do you got? Send them in right now. I'm curious what you guys are working with. And this could be, we want it to be specific to this time of year-ish, you know, so like late fall through spring even. Send it back. I'll take through spring. We can write that down. DJD Films. I'm 12, have been watching you for years. How cool, DJ. That's phenomenal. I know Luke is wildly grateful for that. That's very cool. Yeah, so northern survival gardening in winter, but what about it? You know, I would have been smart and grabbed a piece of paper or something. We'll go with a brown paper bag. Okay, so you guys want overwintering pepper plants. That's a good one. I do know, I think at least. I think he did one last year, but I'll check into that. Overwintering peppers. Saving seeds and separating rhizomes. I think definitely that separating rhizomes is a great one to look into. We'll do this just for a minute and then we'll kind of dive into our topic today. But I figure you guys are full of knowledge, and for us to figure out what you guys want is way easier when I just ask you what you're looking to learn about right now. So that way we can provide that. Native perennials. Let's see. I tried a fall garden for the first time and it's really slow. Will I get a harvest? Dan, I want you to tell me a little more about that. When did you put it in? And it depends. And what did you put in? Fall harvest is slow. I use a grow light and grow them indoors. That is awesome. Amanda, tarping them is probably, so she said her beds got taken over by weeds. If you can go in and get out the weeds that haven't seeded yet, I highly suggest it. Otherwise, suffocation is your best bet. So tarp, and you'd basically be tarping into spring from here because they're overwintering anyways, so you have to do it right into spring. But that is a big one right now. Growing ginger inside. Are you doing that with a grow light? You had a lot of fungus gnats when you tried to overwinter your pepper plants. You know, Lacey, I'm going to have to check into the video I know he did last year. I don't know if he touched base on that, but that could be included in one this year. I just bought a place, prepping new place with fruit trees and bushes and whatnot to get. Yes, that is a great thing right now. Even as like the cold is setting in for us here in Michigan, we are doing our best to get the last couple perennials in the ground. Let's put that down before frost really gets to us. Perennials in fall. So that is your fruit trees, even any kind of tree really. Like my parents are putting in more pine. Getting all of that in now, and ways to succeed with that, you know, making sure they survive their first winter. That's a good one. Growing greens inside during the winter. Are you looking like under grow lights? Is that your idea? So indoor greens. Are any of you, I have a question. Are any of you transferring any of your herbs to like a kitchen herb garden indoors? That's a really great thing to do right now. As long as some of them are still kicking, but there's a good deal of herbs still out there. Kitchen herb garden. We're doing great, guys. Growing green. Okay, yep, I got that one. Video topic. The run through a fall Fall gardening prep. Oh, dang it. I missed it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Yikes. Okay, there it is. To set up core gardening. So, okay. That's pretty good. So you want the transition between fall prep to set up for core gardening. That's a really good one. You know, we talk about a ton of topics over the year and over the years, but sometimes even with other content creators, you don't always see like the connection. You know, our goal is to get everything working together, right? Get it working together, get the garden working for us. So it would be good to kind of get some of these put together. And storage for winter. Patrice, I do believe he just did a tomato seed saving video. You have to ferment them. But I'm pretty sure he just did within the last 2 months maybe, because we went to that, what is it, slow grow organic farm out in Ann Arbor, and we picked up a bunch of tomatoes from them. Microgreens, big fall projects is pulling back old mulch and putting down cardboard, then old mulch back on. I can't talk today. Yes, that gal, oh, you live in Florida. Then absolutely. You can definitely build it. It's us in Michigan at least, and then zones above us. So, you know, 5B and above, who are getting very close to that. Can't put your bulbs in the ground anymore. Basically, if you get them in before your ground freezes, like, you're good. Now, you don't necessarily, I guess I don't know where in Florida you are, but does your ground freeze at all? If it doesn't, you need to be taking advantage of as much of the colder temperatures that you get as possible. So definitely get it in soon, if not now. Temp is best for growing greens indoor over the winter under lights. Remember, greens like it cold. They're not going to love being, you know, right next to your heaters or anything, right next to your vents. But I can check on, it's probably going to be around 60s for growing greens indoors. Cure canna lilies because they are ones my mom planted. Very cool. I have some grow lights, but a sunny window near heat works. Simon, I don't know exactly what you're talking about for what you can grow by the window. Remember, guys, if you grow things by the window, your plants are going to be reaching for the sun out the window. That can cause legginess and just one crooked plants in general. Make sure you're rotating your plants. And 2, if you can get a grow light, it's really probably the better bet, at least for getting them started. Maybe once you have them past that seedling stage, a window could do okay. But especially here in Michigan, where sun is few and far between, as we go through like a 4-month perpetual gray season, a grow light is a wonderful investment. Hello, in south of Sweden. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Choosing grow lights in pots. What kind of pots, Shelby? Are you looking for like starter pots, or what kind of pots? What can you make with grapes? Northern Survival. I have a steam juicer. And so I am making a lot of juice right now. I love fresh canned grape juice. My gram used to make it, and it is my favorite. We maybe touch on that in a little bit. Greenhouse structures. I did talk to him about like some other options for easy, like no cost cold frames that we could get put together. Hey, it's always nice to see you. Sorry I'm late. Oh, well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Self-care, planted bulbs, snow on ground, just fine. Okay, cool. Okay, I think I made it to the bottom of the list. Whew. Good morning. The ginger needs heat. Yeah, so if for the one who said they were growing ginger inside, a heat mat will probably be necessary. I'm just trying to make sure I hit the rest of those and then we can move on. A spectrum or two couldn't grow lettuce. Interesting, Chris. Do you know? Tell me a little more about that. Were they just not growing? Were they stunted? Were they... Tell me more. I want to know about your lettuce. Lettuce inside last winter and bugs were horrible. Still trying to get rid of them. Ooh, yeah. That's no good. Honestly, if you're in an area that you can build some sort of cold frame, that might be your better bet, and just heavily insulate it. So how Jake and I do it at the farm, we did it for the first time this spring, is we did straw bales, which if you are not already, call all your friends, post on Facebook, tell them you want the straw bales that are decorating their front yards right now. Also, if you have animals and you didn't know, pumpkin is a fantastic dewormer. That means your cats and dogs too. Collect all their pumpkins. That's also really good. Anyways. Collect the straw bales, and then you can use old windows. You can use, if you want to get greenhouse plastic and build like a wood frame that you can wrap. These are all good options for doing cold frames to not necessarily have things in your house. Now with a cold frame, I can grow, I could probably have greens up until like the bitter, I don't know, they might struggle like end of January, February for me here. But then I'd be able to get them right back up and going in March. So, and that would be outside in this type of frame. Like I said, we do the straw bales in a window and it works very well. Stunted. Yeah, that's interesting, Chris. I'm wondering, I'd question, like, what kind of container did you have them in? Was it enough soil with enough food? Granted, greens don't need that much. Interesting. I'm not sure. It definitely could have been the lights, for sure. Pitcher plant. Yes, the pitcher plant. I'm still trying to grow my little baby. She's got one little pitcher. We're trying. And then she's going to eat all the fungus gnats in my house. You know what? That's what I think I'm most excited for winter to hit, is getting rid of the stupid fungus gnats. You know, I live in an old farmhouse. It doesn't keep cool like I wanted to. So that's step one. I have so much produce in my house that I'm working on putting up. And so they're there. It's just what it is. And that's fine with me, but I'm ready for them to be gone. You grew lettuce and it was so bitter. Most often that means it was either deprived of water for a certain time or it got too warm. So I don't know what time of year you did it. Once your lettuce gets bitter, honestly, don't even try. Like, get rid of it. Just re-sow. It's so quick for lettuce seeds to come right back. It's 3 weeks max. And just start fresh because they must have just gotten too warm. And once they're bitter, I've never been able to reverse a bitter plant. I don't think it's possible. So that could be it. Or just choose to grow your lettuce in a shadier place is helpful. In the early and late season is helpful, and maybe skip those really hot months. We definitely don't do lettuce through the center because it just doesn't work well. Growing lettuce in a cool weather, in cool weather should not be bitter. It's just if it got heat. If you did grow lettuce in the cool weather and it is bitter, it lacked something. It was deprived for too long of water or nutrients. Well, thank you, Air with Jesus. Sorry, I'm reading quickly. I love that you've learned so much from this channel. That is wonderful. Okay, preserving tomatoes and peppers for someone who's short on time. Had so much to go bad because I couldn't get to them. Charles, make freeze, my goal next year is to have a tomato freezer. I have to be realistic with myself, and I got much better at that this year, is that I do not have time to do it all at once. I mean, if we're being real, I got 3 different jobs that I do. I work here, I teach swim lessons, I teach preschool. So like I do all these different things, and I'm just running a million miles a minute. I don't have time. When I even get home at like I'll plan my day. I'm like, I'm gonna can those at 7 o'clock tonight when I get home. I get home and I'm like, done. I can't. I exhausted all my energy. Put them in the freezer. Don't stress yourself out. Just do it right away. There's just put them in there, and then when you know you're ready, take them all out. Another benefit of it is that you can just do maybe a couple big batches, and that would be the end of it. Whereas we're trying to do it as they ripen, or as they, as we pull them in from the garden and they're sitting in our home, you have to do smaller batches for which ones are ready. Put all my jalapenos, they're in the freezer. Most of my tomatoes, they're in the freezer. I'll get to a point once our garden, whatever, is put completely to rest for the winter. I will then have time to finish. So don't be afraid to give yourself that time. Keep my indoor herbs garden summer. Yes. Okay. I don't know if all of you have an Aldi near you, or if your Aldi is carrying it, but right now our Aldi is carrying Venus flytraps. So get in your car and go. I'll see you next week. Under a hoop house last year with 2 layers of greenhouse plastic, 2 small kale plants survived but did not grow. Pak choi made it until super cold. I think light was an issue. That definitely could have been it, especially because you double layered it. Might not have been able to get enough light through. Maybe instead do a single layer of a thicker plastic. Yes, pumpkins are a dewormer for all animals. Which makes me guess they're probably a dewormer for us. You never know. In case you have that problem. Yes, that's another great point, Albany Mountain Homestead. When you freeze your tomatoes, peeling them is a piece of cake. As soon as they come out, they'll start to thaw, and the peels, all you gotta do is like pinch your tomato and the peel will come right off. It's gold. Personally, I like to core and score. So I core them out, I score the bottom, and then my peels are just easy off right into a pot, and I'm already ready to rock. Hello. I got a vacuum sealer and just throw my tomatoes and peppers in the freezer. Still trying to get the courage to can everything. Honestly, Lacey, start with a really small batch. If you've never canned anything, just start small. As salsa is a great option, especially because we have so many tomatoes and peppers. And do a single batch of something. Give it a go. Once you start, you will not stop. Okay, if we're being, most of the time when it comes to putting things in the freezer, because this is what I have people asking, yes, overhead frame, use like shower hooks. Okay, so because I want a Venus flytrap. Patrice, yeah, if you have an Aldi, even if you drive for it, it's good. They're like $7 for a Venus flytrap. Go for it. Putting things into the freezer, you don't really have to do anything to them. There's a family I follow up in Alaska. They're one of my favorites to follow on YouTube. So here's a shout out, because if you don't follow them, do it. Simple Living Alaska. Eric and Ariel are wonderful, and I actually think it's hysterical that their names are Eric and Ariel. For all my Disney peeps out there, they have a brown grocery sack in their freezer, and they just set their tomatoes in. You don't have to do anything fancy. As long as your freezer's staying at a frozen temperature, it's not like defrosting and then coming back, which obviously isn't good. Make sure it's maintaining its temperature well. And make sure you're putting your tomatoes or peppers in there dry. You don't want them to be all wet, because that will cause different freezing issues. So just set them in, and when they're ready to go, they put the whole, they don't core, score, they don't do any of the things. They just set them in. And when they come out, then they take care of all of that. And honestly, that sounds even easier to me because it's less work, and I like less work. Yeah, don't let canning scare you. Just go for it. It is a good time. But I grow my own medicine, but love my veggie garden. Do they have to be opposites? I grow my own medicine, and I love my veggie garden. Aldi, here I come. Yes, please tell me. I'm curious if any of you find the Venus flytraps. I know not every Aldi carries them, but maybe Collier's before. 2 separate areas. Same dry. Oh my goodness, North Star, you're amazing. I haven't told you that in a couple weeks, but I love you and you're amazing. Thank you for always tagging everything we talk about. Don't worry, I'm here. Toddler Troubles. Oh, also, yes, Love and Light, Robin, they are wonderful. I grow cannabis inside Overwinter. Nice. Very cool. Would be cool in the coming weeks to talk more planning, winter sowing, cold frames, winter gardening. Totally agree. I want to get these things out sooner than later so that way we are ready to prep. I know I say it every couple weeks. Make sure you're saving your like jugs, your vinegar jugs, milk jugs if you use them, water jugs, what have you, any type of clear or opaque jug, gallon type jugs for winter sowing. I have like 50. And how I save them, if you have a garage, this is better. I just have an old farmhouse, so I got to work with my basement. I put a bungee cord and string them and just hang them from like the rafter in my basement until I'm ready to use them. But yes, I want to talk about that soon. Now, something I do want to talk about, I know we touched on it last week a little bit, is that I encouraged you guys to pick topics of things that you were going to learn about this winter. Has anyone looked into that yet? What are some topics that you have decided to make yourself a master on? Personally, for me, soil science is here, and that is what I'm paying attention to the most. I deep dove into pest last year and learned a ton from that, and obviously there's way more to learn, but what I've learned through the last year is that soil is the answer to everything. And so if I can get to, Vivian, I'll answer that in just a second. If I can get to the point where, I totally forgot what I was saying, guys. It happens more than you think. What were we talking about? Oh, soil science. So if I can get to the point where I have just the most healthy soil creates healthy plants. Healthy plants deter pests and deter disease. Sick soil has sick plants, attracts pests, and attracts disease. So if I can start at the front, have healthy soil and focus on that, most of the other things should work themselves out. How do you use the plastic jugs? They basically, Vivian, in brief, they work like a mini greenhouse. So I cut them in half. So I have my base, soil, seeds. I put the top on and I tape it on, and it goes outside even when snow's on the ground. But we'll cover that another time. Soil, good. John, soil. You guys are quick learners. And put a $10 plant. Oh my goodness, I love this set apart. All right, is everyone listening? Better to put a $1 plant into a $10 hole than to put a $10 plant into a $1 hole. Don't skimp on your soil. That's great advice. Your soil is the key to everything. So, eggshells and coffee, and coffee grounds help your soil. Sure, they do different things. Eggshells can supply calcium once they're completely broken down. They are not an immediate calcium supply. Coffee grounds can raise your acidity, but as you guys know, you need to be getting your soil tested first to know if you need to raise your acidity. Granted, all those things for me go in my compost pile. I don't mind about that. But if you're thinking like, I need calcium here now. Eggshells probably isn't your best option. Worm farming too. That is another one I want to get into. I feel like it kind of ties to soil. But worm farming, it's such an undertapped resource of nutrients, and I definitely think it's a need. They didn't do well, and I'm within the 100-mile radius. They grow. Yeah, start fresh, Christina. There's a company in Detroit who raise Venus flytraps. Detroit Venus flytrap. I'll have to find the name of the company. And they have a ton of info on, Killer Plant Company is what it's called. Killer Plant Company. And they have so much info on Venus flytraps, so I highly suggest you look into it. You can definitely powder the eggshells in a coffee grinder, and that makes them quicker, like more quickly available. But it's still technically not an immediate release. Patrice, why can't you compost where you live? I'm curious. Carnivorous plants need high humidity to stay wet. They like sun and use grow lights. Or they like sun. She uses grow lights. Thanks, Jenny. Okay, yeah, Shirley. Use old washing machine tubs for worm farming. That's what Jake is collecting right now. So I think that's what he has on his plate, is he's going to use the old bins. That's a great question, John. He said, if I test my soil, how do I know if it's good to grow? When you test your soil, I'm going to be honest, I'm not talking about these quick test things. I'm talking about going through your local extension office, going through, who else does it? Often like your township office can have ways for you to test your soil. And when you do it through them, they will give you a detailed analysis of your soil and tell you exactly what you need to do. There are like other companies out there who have different like soil tests. Like we do, we have a smaller one. It's just not wildly extensive. I use that one in like mid-season when a plant is having trouble and I need to figure out like quick fix, like what's happening. So I can do that's what those quick assessments are for. Now, Redmond Salt gave me a soil test that they want me to test my farm and to send it back and to work with them on figuring out some soil things. That has it where the info they give you back is really easy to digest, where oftentimes going through your extension office, they give you a ton of info and it's really hard to digest, so you need their help. It's nearly freezing here. When will broccoli come? Did you plant it? If you planted it, I mean, it'll still work its way. Broccoli is pretty hardy. I would put some frost cloth over it though if it's already freezing. Okay, let's see. Can you talk about how to make compost and how we can continue it during the winter months? Sue, are you talking about how to maintain the heat? How to make sure you have a hot compost system going during the winter months? That we can add to our list. Hot composting. If you do not already, get yourself a compost thermometer. It is God's gift to this earth. I know we sell them here. They're really helpful. Really very helpful. Especially if you're trying to maintain heat. It's not a busy time of year. I do it in-ground worm farming. Yes, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. That's what we're looking to do, Suzanne, is in-ground worm farming. I'm sure my extensions should probably have some good info in the radius where they grow. Hey, it is never a bad thing to need help. Remember that we are always learning and always growing, and that's what makes us better overall. Best veggies to grow indoors for winter. We can add that to the list. This isn't necessarily where I had today's topic going, but I think this is good, and I hope you guys agree. I'd like to hear from you every so often about video topics that you guys are craving, so that way we're making sure that we're getting the content that you need out. So yeah, sorry, Michelle's trying to come in, and I locked the door, locked her out. Getting rid of grubs. We'll add that. Purple sprouting broccoli planted in spring, 6 feet tall. Ooh. Heather, if it's 6 feet tall, it might have bolted. Did it bolt? Why don't you tag me in a picture of it on Instagram if you have it? At Roots, Shoots, and Coffee, all spelled out. Tag me in a picture of it. I'm wondering if it bolted. Yeah, Simon, you can have hope for your broccoli still. As long as they don't bolt, they still have potential to bloom. But as freezing is coming, I would consider getting some frost cloth or figure out your cold box that you're going to use. I still kill a lot of plants. You guys, I kill plants all the time. All the time. I don't do it on purpose, but I do, and I learn from it, and I move on. Or sometimes I realize that it can't sit in that part of my house because I never see it, and I learn that. Book recommendations. We can do that. Are you looking for, like, in learning books? I know that sounds really silly. Can you get a little more specific on that? Book recs. No seeds. Okay. Simon, if you're on Instagram too, also tag me in your broccoli so I can look at it. Not bolted. Tag me in them, guys. I want to see them. Yeah, get more specific on book topics. Are you looking for Are you looking for like garden specific, soil specific? Get a little more specific, then I can guide you a little better. Oh, I dropped my pen. Ground cover plants. Do you just chop and drop in spring? Yes, we do. Turnips planted in bed and have completely covered beds with greens. That's wonderful. You did it. Great job. Shoes stop from the earth to reach you. Yes, less more. I don't know if you're talking about that. Grounding yourself is really important. That's why I like to garden barefoot. Just kidding. I really just like to be barefoot, but it's helpful. All right, guys, we're wrapping up here soon. I think this ended up being really helpful, at least for me, because that way we know where to go from here education-wise to improve garden knowledge. Okay. All right, Lila, I will go ahead and put together maybe a book, all the books like I've learned from. I'll talk with Luke on that too, if he can give us some ideas on books that he's really found informative. Is Milky Spore safe on veg garden? I've never used it, Chris. I think someone was already helping you with that, so I apologize. Last fall, they already sprouted and bloomed. Cool. So books, I have a whole list of topics. You can't even see it. I listened, guys. So I'll go back here and see if there's any I missed. But I want us to find the topics that you guys need to talk about. So we will go ahead and do that. I'm separating some rhizomes out tomorrow. Maybe I can do a video on those to help Luke out, 'cause I don't know if he has any rhizome plants in his garden. Yeah, Christina, we can talk about not fencing, for keeping animals out, things other than fencing. So Full non-chopped leaves okay for full non-chopped leaves okay for winter mulch. It is okay. I want you to be careful because you don't want to do too thick of a layer because they can suffocate. If you're able to, put them in a big pile and run your lawnmower over them. That's really all it takes to chop them. Or if they're out there and they're really dry and you put them on, then just even with your hands, when they're very dry, it's pretty easy to do that. Cool. All right, guys, I think we're all done for today. We're going to go and plan lots of videos and new blog posts and everything. If you have any other suggestions, I tagged you in a picture. Thanks. Awesome. I'll check it out here in a minute. A video on how to prevent rock wool from turning green in hydroponics. I can write it down and I can talk to him about it. Rock wool in hydro. Okay. I will ask him for sure. Cool. You guys have a wonderful week and come back with more. I want specifics on things that you guys are learning this winter because I think I saw 3 people put soil in and that was wonderful, but I want to make sure you guys are all picking a topic, at least one topic that you're going to devote your winter to. Veggies making bulbs. Cool. All right. Wonderful. Patrice, it was nice to meet you too. Have a wonderful day and I will see you guys later.